Hello world, welcome to the journalist chat today, and today we have a very special guest from the different part of the country, and we have a guest from Guatemala, and we have a Jos Hernandez from Guatemala. I think this is amazing, and I'm super excited to meet with him, and it is the first time I'm conducting a interview with somebody from the Guatemala. Please welcome our guest tonight. Hello, hi Jos, how are you?
Hello, Susa. Thank you very much for having me. It is a pleasure to be here. I'm so excited and so ready to be able to have this great conversation. Thank you to all the audience who is watching us. It's just really a privilege and an honor to be here.
Yeah, I think this is a huge privilege and honor, also the pleasure for us because this is the first time, and I think if I ask you how excited you are because you are right now connecting with somebody who were from Bangladesh and who were like in a
Wow.
different continent. How do you feel?
It is amazing. I mean, just to see the time zones and just to imagine and great, thankful for all this kind of technology that allows us to connect and have this conversation is just great.
Wow, super. So, my audience today, I think this is a special show for today because the person who were in our guest, the person who were in front of you, he has an experience with somebody like he has a different experience. He has been working with Hope Renowned International in Guatemala, and he has been working and contributing in a lot of times. He is playing a different kind of role. So, just as usual questions, if I ask you, like, we know right now the situation is not a good around the world during the time of COVID-19, though there's a lot of problem inside in Guatemala.
Mhm.
But if I ask you, how are you and what is the present condition of the Guatemala?
Well, I am fine, thank you. And well, in Guatemala, it's yes, it is a rough time right now, and it is some hard times around. Gladly, if we want to compare statistics around the world, we are not doing that bad. Because right now, let me tell you, and I'm pulling here the information right now, we have 585 cases in Guatemala since March 13th, if I'm not mistaken. Uh, Gladly, the authorities have taken some measures and restrictions to prevent, basically to prevent, and the people, the country has responded to them well. So, I mean, 585, it is a big number, but it is not the big number as many other countries who have thousands and hundreds of cases. So gladly in Guatemala, on that side, we are, taking care of ourselves. Probably the economic part is the one that is stumbling because everything basically has stopped, most of it. So, but
No, I
we
think
are fine.
this is a right now. This is a nature of the world. Even not in a Guatemala, even every country, there's a lot of things to stop because during the time of COVID-19. So we know, like right now, there's a few of the people who are playing different kind of role, who are the frontliner, who has been working. So if I ask you, I know you are working with Hope Renowned International, which is one of the amazing organizations and working inside in Guatemala. So if I ask you, like, what role you are playing right now, what work you are doing right now?
Well, the organization that I work for, um, we do have projects here of humanitarian relief, and we provide care, love, education, opportunities, jobs. So right now, one of our projects is a orphanage or a home for girls only. We have a girls home outside of the city. Uh, that is the our number one and only project that is like running 100% right now. So we are focusing on them, but we don't, we still take care of the rest of our projects, like in red zones in Guatemala. We have a preschool around the community in the city dump, and we are, going there and trying to help the people around there because these are the in most need at this moment.
Yeah, and very interesting thing and the interesting questions I'm waiting, and also the audience waiting. Like, how prison taught you how to lead. I mean, from the front. Like, what about? I know you work in with like with the prisoners, and you have experience, and all you know that in all you know the different. Even for the Asian peoples, they know about the Guatemala prisons, and also this is kind of familiar to the peoples and those who are unknown about the Guatemala. So, and as a development worker, as a humanitarian, and as an amazing person, what was your experience to work with the prisoners?
It is a huge experience. It is, at the beginning probably it will be overwhelming because you think like, oh my god, you are going to prison. I mean, you are going to prison. And gladly I've been there a couple times serving and helping. But when you come in there and you realize these people are human beings, right? I do understand they are paying for really bad stuff they have done in the past. I won't justify that. But you realize they are human beings as you and I are, probably with different characteristics, but still, they are humans, and they are worth to be served. They are worth to be helped,
Mhm.
and you do that knowing that probably most of them either reject it, either probably will work for a little while and then they will go back to their way, to their old ways. I mean, there are many options, but again, I want to say it is worth to work with them and try to see their perspective of life and try to help them to improve that perspective.
Yeah, what kind of case they have? Because once I had an experience to work with the few prisoners. So basically, who was like child, and they are not prisoners. So this is a kind of a child development center, and people used to work for the behavioral change.
Hmm.
So if I ask you, like, what kind of bad stuff they have done, like, what was their case, and what was their history?
Basically, in the last couple of times that I've been there, I've been working with either former gang members or
Whoa.
actual gang members, and it is just, I don't know, they I don't want to say they are special, but they have something different. Their background is, it's amazing. It's huge. A lot of abandonment or neglect, abuse, definitely, and they cite that towards, crime and gangs. Basically, they have a huge or a big sense of loyalty. In this case, loyalty to the gang. So that's, that is
So
quite.
they're based on the Guatemala gangster or like a gang team, or they're the part of the international gang.
They are part of the, national gang, which is like the two biggest gangs that actually goes around Guatemala and El Salvador. Basically, mainly, they have,
Yeah.
more people around, but the real center are these two countries that actually are, next to each other.
Okay. So so they're the member of the they're member of the national gangs, and then like they're right now in the prison. So you were talking about their story, like they're abandoned and they're neglected from their society. So when you talk to them, when you first day, suppose the first day when you enter inside the prison, when you first talk to them to do your work as a development worker, as a humanitarian, what was your perceptions before, and when you talk to them, what things actually change your mind to them?
Well, at the beginning, I remember the first time I went in there, I was like, okay, all right, I am committed to this mission. And to be honest, I was kind of afraid. I was very afraid. I was terrified. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to be respectful. I want to try to not say, hard stuff, or put myself in a risky situation. Once you get in there, once you start to talk with them, and you realize that, again, they are human beings, and in this case, I went to this juvenile prison to guys who are underage, and they are in prison, because they are gang members before they are even 18. I realized, oh my gosh, this is a kid. He is
Yeah.
a kid. I mean, he's a kid, and I remember with my coworker, we went in there, and actually we had a couple work projects for them to work and to improve their own facilities. We worked as to fix some desks that they used to study,
Mm,
to paint a couple walls,
mm,
and and sand a chairs and desks as well. And they were thrilled. They were like, oh my gosh, thank you very much for bringing this, because we do have something to do. And that's the thing. They spend so much time doing nothing that
mm.
that messes up your mind somehow.
Yeah.
That is just
Yeah.
like, you have nothing to do, and all of a sudden this person comes, and at least you are painting outside of their very own cell.
Mm.
It's just overwhelming for them, and they are literally kids.
Yeah. If you just allow me to speak in 1 minute in Bangla, just I'll come back to you. So দর্শক, আমরা
Sure.
যার সাথে কথা বলছি, আমরা এটা আমাদের খুবই অজানা। আমি কেন বাংলা বলছি, এটা আমাদের খুবই অজানা যে যারা জেলখানায় থাকে কিংবা যারা কয়েদি, আসলে তাদের সাথে কাজ করাটা কেমন, কিংবা কয়েদিদের সাথে তারা আসলে কিভাবে জীবন যাপন করে। আমরা সবাই জানি যে গুয়াতেমালার যে বিখ্যাত কারাগার কিংবা গুয়াতেমালায় যে কারাগার আছে, সেখানে আসলে কি ধরনের টর্চার গুলো করা হয়, সেখানে আসলে তাদের অবস্থাটা কিরকম হয়, ক্রাইমটা কিরকম হয়। আমরা এমন একজনের সাথে কথা বলছি যিনি কিনা সেই গুয়াতেমালা কারাগারে কাজ করেছেন, সেসব কয়েদিদের সাথে যার অভিজ্ঞতা আছে। সো আশা করি শেষ পর্যন্ত আমাদের সাথে থাকবেন। ইয়েস জস, আই এম সরি, বাট ইটস
No,
ওকে।
that's okay. I
Yeah,
totally
so
understand. Great.
basically, I'm trying to explain to my audience, those who are those who are speaking Bangla and those who are from Bangladesh, and also the people in South Asia. So basically, all we are, like everyone, we hate the crime. Everyone hate the crime. So, but we know the person, those who are committing crime, they are the human beings and they're the relatives of somebody, you know. So when you work first day, you told us like something like happening in your mind, you was kind of afraid. And after the work, what things you learn from that? If there anything else learn from that?
Again, the first thing is, this is a human being. This is a person who has the yeah. I don't want to say it's quite funny, or I don't know, ironically, people say that they have rights, and they have to, we have to fight for the rights. I mean, at some point, yes, they do have rights as us. Okay, they have violated someone others rights, but still, they are these are kids
Mm,
that, unfortunately, for whatever reason that I do not know and I am not in control of, they lost their childhood for many, many reasons. We could try to number them, and we will never finish, because it's just amazing, all their backgrounds. But right now, as of that moment, you see, okay, this person, as I am, is worth to be helped.
mm,
Why outside we can help other people who are struggling, who are hunger, who lost their job, or whatever. How now they inside we cannot.
yeah.
Inside we should as well. I'm not saying that to everyone to do that. There are some people who are called, let's say, like, they have this call to help, and I felt led to that.
Yeah. So basically, what kind of a story? Because when you work with them, so definitely you are sharing the different things, and they're sharing different things to you, and it's kind of more a communicative process to talk with each other. and understand with each other. So basically, what kind of a story they usually share to you, and like in your whole experience, what story is still in your mind?
In my mind, I remember the first time that I went into prison, and this was this was not a juvenile prison. This was an actual prison with people from all ages, and and I remember we were helping there. And this is a we had North American missioners. So I remember it was actually a medical journey. We had one dentist and and a couple nurse practitioners, and we were, serving there and checking on the inmates. And all of a sudden, I was talking with one of them, and he said like, he asked me if spoke Spanish, and I was like, dude, yes, I am Guatemalan. And he was shocked, and that's the story for me because he was shocked. He said, like, "Are you Guatemalan? Yeah. Are you from here? Yeah. Where exactly? In the city, because it was outside of the city." And he was like, "Oh wow." And I was like, "Why are you surprised?" Because okay, I know. Don't get me wrong. I know we have people who come here and serve and give us some kind of help. I do understand that. But the thing is that no Guatemalans come. Guatemalans do not visit. I mean, my family for I've been here for the last 9 years. No one from my family have come to visit me, and probably I would expect North American missioners to come, but I would never expect a Guatemalan to just come here and visit and talk with me and serve us in this way. That was shocking to me because it was like, yeah, that is true. No
Yeah.
Guatemalan, want to go into to prison to serve. I know there are people, of course, there are people who actually do that, but it's not the majority, or in this case, it's not a big number. That's what I mean. And so our society here, it condemns them so much, and probably they have really fair reasons to condemn them, but still again I want to mention that okay, it's still a person who needs help, probably
Yeah.
doesn't know that needs help, but everybody, all of us need at some point some help.
Yeah, I mean, we do respect in your culture, we do respect in your country. If I ask you, like, why this boy has this kind of perceptions, like nobody visited to him because of nobody are thinking about, okay, so he committed crime, so he should be punished, and in the meantime, like, he's thinking about his family members, but nobody come within like 7 years or 5 years. So what about your opinion, like why are general people, what the culture of the general people, how people think about the criminal, and what about the culture of the gang culture in Guatemala? Is general people
The
accept the culture?
I mean, so with people in prisons, people condemn a lot, and don't get me wrong, there is a lot of reasons why our society has been so broken and so damaged by gangs. In this case, one of the crimes of fashion here is extortion, which is somehow find your phone number and I call you and I say, if you don't give this amount of money, we will murder all your family. And all the society knows that those calls and those uh, all the management and all the creation of that comes literally from inside of the prison, and it is taken by gangs. And
Yeah.
again, it's horrible. I understand on the side of our society how damaged it is, and how so much anger and so much fear we our society has to gangs, and that's one of the biggest reasons why nobody or most of people do not want to know anything or do don't want to be related anything
Yeah,
with
I think
the prison
I think
system.
in the life experience of me and also maybe for the audience, like we know that like the gang are controlling the society or try to do something from the jail or from the prisons. So I mean, this is kind of so horrible, you know, like they're inside the prison, but still their activate and their activity is going on, and they're calling somebody and say, hey, you have to give me some things or you have to do some things and you have to
Hmm.
maintain my order. So I think, yeah, this is in horrible situations, you know, like I mean, this is how people really thinking about that and how people every day, because what I study on based on the Guatemala is not happened last 10 years, last 20 years. It has been going on for a long time. Even we saw a lot of films in different kind of film, we saw that this kind of thing is going on from Guatemala and is going on. So why my question is, and we know that when this kind of gang and also this kind of criminal activity is going on, there's a definitely some groups who were patronizing behind or patronizing from the outdoor or patronizing from external as external actor. So do you think why how they get the patronization? I mean, what things make them strong to do in your experience?
What makes sorry
Yeah, I mean how, because why the government and also the others are not able to stop this? Why this keep continue?
oh, okay, well, first of all, because there are a lot. It is so the prison system is over populated. That is for sure. I mean, there are, I don't know, hundreds overpopulated each prison in Guatemala. It's just so much, and it is, there are a lot of reasons. Let's say the lack of education, the lack of opportunities, um, again, the broken families, and why the government or the authorities cannot control this. Because in my understanding, I want to say short understanding, because I cannot talk for all
Sure,
the
sure,
people in
sure.
Guatemala, but in my short understanding is because it is, there are so many people, so much involved, and and also I think we gotta shoot to or we gotta address the problem for its very root or its very beginning, which in my opinion would be family, the
Yeah,
families, and work on the
yeah.
families, education, health, nutrition. I mean, there are so many. It's so big, the perspective there, or the big picture there, that it cannot be, addressed easily. Like, okay, we'll just give education to the family. How can you educate them if they are not able to even eat? I mean, or if they don't have opportunity to go to the doctor because they don't feel well. I mean, it is just a lot around
Mhm.
the families here. That would be
Yeah.
my perspective here.
Yeah. So if I ask you, like, Sen, we know that even during the time of when the lot of crisis is going on, even inside in different country. So you grew up, and as a person, you are from Guatemala, and in the meantime, you are working for the people, those who are your community, those who are your natives. And what makes you feel proud, like as a humanitarian worker, as a development worker? Because we know that this is a huge risk, you know, and there's a lot of risks, like when you are working and go to inside in the prisons and then dealing with the gangster to talk and to develop their psychology and to help them as a human. So I mean, what risks you all the time just keep in your mind, and what things all just makes you motivated to work for them?
um I want to say, what leads me to do this, again, as I said at the beginning, is just somehow some kind of a call. I felt called, or I felt led to do this, and And all these, a lot is related with my own religious beliefs. And but I felt cold, and I know all the risks. I remember at some point I told my family, guys, at some point I know there is a huge probability that I won't come back. That somehow I will be in the middle of a shooting, or I don't know. I just don't know, but I know that I am doing the work I was called to do, and that there is no other other sense of achievement there.
Yeah,
So
I
I
mean,
can live in peace, and I can live fine, and to get to that point and realize that it is a long way, to be honest. And
yeah,
but I mean, going to the real, like, to the real red zones in Guatemala, at some point when you start to know the people around there, and when you see again, I mean, it's not only in the prison, I mean, it's everywhere. When you see again, these are families, these are human beings, these are uh, people who are either looking for a job, or trying to do their best for their kids. And when you see the kids growing up in those environments, you see, oh my god, oh my gosh, in my case, in my own history, in my own life, I had a really good opportunities in life, and but then I see these kids, and I'm like, oh wow, these
hmm.
kids are worth, these
Yeah,
people
it's
are worth.
you're so bravo, man. Like this is so you're so. I mean,
Thanks.
this is an huge inspiration, man. Like you were working inside in the prisons and with the gang, and then people are like you try to develop their psychology. You try to help them, the people, those who used to committed crime and shooting and fire. I mean,
Mm.
yeah, I mean, that's why my audience today, that's why I think this is the motivations today you are here. And today we are talk about the humanity. Today we are talk about the human beings, how we need to treat the human beings as the human beings, not like, not any, not with their any activity or any titles. Like, okay, he's a criminals and he's a someone, or he's a rich man, or he's a poor man, but rather than as a human being, I think is super. So if I ask you, like, I don't know how you take it, like, if you know, like, any of your friends who start, I mean, who join in the gang, and then rather than they know like you are working with them, and they communicate with you and try to come back, or they're still not able to come back because the culture of the gang sometimes is so horrible, the situation, and also not able to come back from the gang, and because of the contacts. So if there any of the friend or any of your relatives who come back and share this story to you.
Well, close friends or relatives, I don't have like real, like, people who were part of a gang. Just the people that I worked with. And but I do want to say it's a hard transition. It is a hard transition to get out of the gang.
Yeah.
I am not the I don't have the best example, but I know people who actually have uh, be able to leave the gang, and it is
Hmm.
a long process. I mean, it takes years, not only from the gang way of thinking, or the gang rules, or all that kind of stuff, but also in the person, inside of the person, is just to try to change their mindset. Literally, you want to try to change their mindset, to see that the gang is not the only thing they have, because that is a big thing that gang members have. The gang is the only thing they have, is the only family they have,
Yeah.
and and
Only the person to share the experience and sorrow and feelings.
exactly, exactly. But
Yeah.
it is really hard for them to realize and to understand. And I've seen people who were able to go get out of the gang, and people who tried and tried their best, and all of a sudden they went back. They had no other chance to go back, and I'm like,
I
But
mean, this
I
is a
mean, it's
kind of
part of
so
the
horrible,
reality.
I mean, as a journalist, like as journalist me, and I mean, as a journalist, those who are the journalists around the world who were really communicating with the peoples because of gathering informations and also the other steps. So sometimes, like how do you talk to the people, those who we know they're not good, or I'm not like judgmental, like they committed something, they committed crimes, but as a journalist or as a person who you're communicating with them, like we feel like no, they have something to share, and they're sharing their story and feelings, it's something so insane, the way they narrate, the way they tell their stories is like something amazing things, so I think that's really need to support them to, so that they change this, they can change this psychology, even they can get somebody who really helps them to get rid of it. So if I ask you, I mean, because you're from Guatemala, and I know I have a few friends from Guatemala because I work with one of the organizations from Guatemala, I shared with you before, and I know Guatemala has an amazing culture and people are so enthusiastic, even like people used to dancing and also the folk culture in Guatemala. So if you share with us a little bit about the best thing of the Guatemala in precisely.
Wow, one of the best things of Guatemala. I mean, first of all, and it will sound ironic, but I want to say one of the best things of Guatemala is their people. We
Yeah.
are so welcoming, and just I don't know, I don't really know about other cultures or a lot of cultures, but I want to say our Latino culture, we are so passionate, we are
Yeah.
so expressive. When we say hi, we don't just do a handshake. We give a hug, we give a kiss, and we are so welcoming. And when you show yourself that, it's just amazing. Guatemala, the our country has a lot of potential and has a lot of beautiful things. I mean, just to mention the tourism, it's amazing. You can see one day a beautiful lake, and from there you can see volcanoes. There is one of the most beautiful lakes in the world, surrounded by three volcanoes.
Yeah.
So many touristic places, and so uh, beauty in the nature around us is just amazing to see. And yeah, it's I cannot enforce that more. It's our people, uh, the people that you get to know, and you get to see how welcoming they
Yeah.
are, and and
Yeah.
and and the strength they have. Guatemala, I've seen how our society is fighting all the
Mm.
time to be able to have their own goods, and it's just amazing how also our society helps a lot uh,
Mm.
to other
Mm.
people, and how we together we are all in this together,
Yeah, I
especially
think
in
this
these
is.
in these times.
Yeah, I think this is not only you and your communities, and we are together, like from the different part
Exactly.
of the world, like the Bangladesh, Guatemala, and the other country, other state.
Totally.
Like we all are together, we all are under the same shadow because we know we all are facing the
Hmm.
same problem. If I ask you one of the questions, if you feel free, you can answer, or either you can ignore. So we know that the in the Guatemala, El Salvador, and also the other Latin American country, and you know when any kind of problem facing or anything happen, any critical situation happening in USA, United States, and that's impact play badly in the state or in the Latin American country like the Guatemala, Mexico, and other country. So what about your perceptions on that?
So I want to say, us, Latin American countries, especially in Central America and all this, um, yes, we are very. Our country is very influenced by United States. That is a fact. Uh, Maybe some people won't agree with me, and I understand where they coming from. But I mean, we gotta see and say the reality. We are very influenced by United States in many ways, We do receive a lot of help from them. I mean, for an example, our organization, it is a U.S. based
Hmm.
organization who helps here and who works here, and it is in a really good way in some of those lines, but um, it is just thanks to technology and to be able to see what's happening around the world now. Our society can open the eyes and see how every country and a lot of countries are in this moment damage or in emergency, but still we are quite some some strings attached to
Hmm.
United States.
Yeah, I mean because right, sorry. After the Italian, we know that the second hit zone is in United States. Every day, like thousands of people are dying on the COVID
Yeah.
19, and every day there's a lot of COVID 19 positive case. If I ask you something like, I know you were first time you were talking with somebody from Bangladesh. So in your lifetime, are you ever heard about Bangladesh before?
Yes, a couple times probably. It will be funny. I don't want to be disrespectful, but probably in a couple movies somehow.
Hmm.
But
What
I
kind of what
do.
kind of movie? The recent movie extra, the recent Hollywood movie, or like,
No, it is
oh,
just like, let's say, action movies. If I
oh,
try to remember right now, probably action movies, and I don't know, these whatever spy can go and lands in Bangladesh. I don't know, something like that. I also a couple references that I had from Bangladesh. I remember studying in school. You know, you in geography basically you
yeah,
gotta
yeah,
learn a
yeah.
lot of countries, and Bangladesh happens to be there.
Mm,
And also one last is that I uh, years ago I worked at this hotel,
mm,
which is a five-star hotel, and it's all around the world. It was actually a Westin,
mm,
and I remember the sous
mm,
chef there. He
mm.
moved to Bangladesh to another really good hotel, and that will be the
Wow,
other
wow.
references.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's really super. I'm feeling very happy to like you know about the Bangladesh, and I think so. Bangladesh is one of the very hospitable countries, and even in South Asia, and which is like independent 1971 from the Pakistan, and it was under the British
Oh,
colonial. So I think the people of Bangladesh, they're so hospitable, and like the Guatemalan people, so
that's
welcoming the
great.
people. So I think when the lockdown situations will gonna be okay, and I think we all are welcoming you to come in Bangladesh, and definitely I'll be
Definitely.
very good host for you, the
Oh,
realistic
please.
host. And we are also the facing the same sort of problems, which is around the world also is going on, but we are try to make solving the problem in independent way. So I mean there is a lot of influence of also the different country, because this is a good time of the global, so it's just happening. So
Mhm.
if you wanna say something to your audience, and we are already on the end of the show, like if you want to say something to the world audience and your audience and also the Bangladeshi audience, and it will be amazing. And then I have another questions. It
All
will be
right.
last question.
All right. Well, first of all, it is such an honor and a pleasure to be here. It's amazing, as we said at the beginning, how I am connecting with a person from Bangladesh. It is just, overwhelming, and it's great. And I'm so happy and excited for this to actually happen. To all the audiences is the message that we have been seeing. We are all in this together. One of the great, I don't know, the evil or the enemy wants us to think that we are alone, and that's the last thing that we are right now. We are all in this together. I've seen all around the world, not only in my country, all around the world, how everybody is stretching and trying to help others in these specific uh, hard times, uh,
Hmm.
from day to day. And I guess one of the biggest lessons that we can learn from this whole problem is we as humans are not in 100% control. This virus do not see what
Yeah.
what size, what color, what
No discriminations.
economical. I mean, nothing.
Nothing.
This
Yeah.
virus just sees you as a human person. If you are
Yeah.
human, okay, that then the virus will try to seek you. But
Yeah.
I mean, one of the greatest lessons is that, of course, we are not in control, but on the other side, we are able to help each other as
Yeah,
humans.
sure. Yeah, I mean, this is the best motivations. We can be together with each other. Even so, during the time of lockdown, we say that conversations, recreation, kindness, entertainment is on lockdown. Even
Hmm.
think about it, we are able to communicate to each other. It's kind of a lifetime, like able to
Hmm.
think. So we know that like Guatemala has amazing culture of the song and also the different things. So in your leisure time, so what kind of song, what kind of Guatemalan popular song you usually sing? Like if any one or two line, if you sing like anything so you can do in front of my audience, it will be amazing based on the Guatemala language. In your language, if you can do something, it will be amazing. I think what I'm trying to do, because this is a time like all the people are all the time listening and reading the story of very sad things. People are dying, people are COVID-19 positive, and somebody lost their mom, somebody losing their somebody's. So in the meantime, we feel to give some recreation so that people feel still there's hope to survive. So it will be amazing in your language.
Okay. Wow.
Or any
uh,
poem or anything else. Anything else.
Actually, well, let's say our national anthem is very beautiful, but I
Okay.
wanna. Okay, I'm not gonna sing that, and it's. I'm not a singer. I wanna.
Definitely, I do. No
Spoiler alert!
problem.
I'm not a singer at all, but I like this song that is so beautiful. That is
All
called
right.
Luna de Xelajú, which
Okay.
means the moon of this city called Xelajú. We call it like that, and it's a very Guatemalan
We'll be happy to
song.
listen. Yeah.
So
Please,
let me
one or two
try to
line. Please.
let me try to pull it up here as well, and it is just it says, let me see,
It is more the
the
cultural
chorus.
cohesion. It is more like understanding from my audience from Asia and Bangladesh to know
Hmm.
and introducing the other audience and culture. So it is kind of respecting the other culture, respecting the other nations and their vibes and views. And I think
Hmm.
this is something we are trying to do from the journalist chat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, sure. And so let me see. So the song, it says something like this. It's like Luna de Shelahu, que supiste alumbrar en mis noches de pena por una morena de dulce mirar. Luna de Shelahu, me diste inspiración, la canción que hoy te canto regada con llanto de mi corazón.
Mm.
That's just a
Super,
short.
super, super. If you
Thank
just
you
follow
very
me, I
much.
can. If
Thank
you
you.
just follow me, I can sing like one of the Bangla song. I'm
Sure,
one of the
sure.
Bangla like this kind
I
of
would
global.
love
And
to.
you can follow me like you can do with me like Amra,
Amra,
Amra, Corbo,
Corvo,
Corbo, Joy, Joy.
Amra, Joy.
Yes, Amra, Corbo, Joy.
Amra, Corvo, Joy. Okay.
Wow. Say Amra, Corbo, Joy.
Amra, Corvo, Joy.
Wow, আমরা করবো জয় একদিন. Yes, it's an
What?
we shall overcome. We shall overcome. Yeah. So
Wow.
and is an amazing and thank you to be here. So I think this is an amazing pleasure from Bangladesh, and this is an amazing pleasure on behalf of the journalist chat. And it is a huge honor you to be here. And definitely, I love to meet with another person from Guatemala and who just came back from the prison and changed their mind. And I think that will be really amazing. And I'd like to thank Hope Renowned Internationals, who has been doing amazing work, those who based on the USA based organizations, but working inside in the Guatemala. And because you guys are working, I think it's really amazing. So this is time to say bye to the audience. So audience, you know that every day we try to find somebody who has a story. We try to find somebody who has expertise, who are playing different vital role inside the society. So I think we should say bye, and please don't miss the show another night, and I'll come with another person from another world and from another country. I think that will be amazing, and you will enjoy the show. And we say again, like during the time of lockdown, conversation, recreation, love, and creativity and kindness is on lockdown. Please, bye bye for tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.